As I got ready to record this video, I noticed that somebody is in shed, and this is her first shed with me. What a perfect time to update you guys on my snake, as well as give you a brief baby hognose care guide, and I'll include some b-roll footage because I've also recorded this video in the past, and I just wanted to re-record it and make it nice and polished and short and sweet. So here we go. Hi, my name is Karen Michelle. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. Today I'm going to be giving you a basic baby hognose care guide. This is just my experience for the first couple of months of having my hognose snake. I got her in mid-July, and this is also kind of the update, I guess, if you're wanting one, if you saw that first video, and just kind of giving you my experience. Hopefully my advice can help you save a little bit of money and help you get your hognose eating right off the bat and all that other fun stuff. There's different hognose species. There's the western hognose, the eastern hognose, the tricolored hognose, Madagascar giant hognose, and I'm sure there's more, but we're going to be talking about the western hognose. And yes, there's a difference between all of them. So we're specifically talking about the western hognose snake because that is the snake that is getting more and more popular in the pet trade. And a lot of people would say that it's a great beginner snake, which I would say, yeah, because they're very interactive and they don't bite. But at the same time, yes, if you're getting an adult, but baby hognoses I feel like can be a little tricky, which is another reason why I'm making this video, because I hope me specifically talking about baby hognose care, I can help you, because more than likely if you're getting a hognose snake, you're getting a baby. And sometimes they can be tricky to get eating and to get their environment correct. So, speaking of environment, let's start there. So, a lot of people get a 10-gallon tank or a 20-gallon tank, and sometimes they spend up to like $150 buying these fancy Exoterra front sliding door enclosures, only to find out that it is too big for the baby hognose snake. And that happens a lot, and I did that. I bought a 10-gallon tank for my hognose snake, and it ended up being too big. And so I had to downgrade, and at first I downgraded to the 6-quart container, which some people do, but I couldn't figure out how to heat it properly. And a lot of people say, oh, well, don't spend that much because, obviously you're going to be upgrading them to a bigger tank, which I agree. But I only spent $30. Like, it's 15 for the aquarium and then 15 for the screen top on Amazon. The aquarium you can get at PetSmart. So I only spent $30 on the setup, which I feel like when you're buying a 6-quart container, yeah, you're only going to be spending like $5 on it, but you're also going to be spending anywhere from $20 to $30 on the heat mat, and then you're going to need a thermostat, which is about $15, and you'll need that if you're going to be, I assuming, trying to heat this up. But I don't know. I guess there's a way you could do it with a lamp. I don't know how. So we're going to be talking about a aquarium setup. So this is a 2.5-gallon aquarium. I got it at PetSmart, like I already said, for $15, and it comes in a little box as you see pictured. And you'll want to just cut half of that box and just leave maybe like 2 or 3 inches of space at the top so you can see your snake. Because giving her the rest of that cover will help your snake get comfortable with their environment. I eventually took the box off when I noticed that she was peeking her head over to look at me. As far as the stuff inside of the aquarium, I have about 3 inches of aspen, and depending where you buy it, it can be anywhere from $5 to $30. Like I said, where you buy your stuff is going to determine how much you're going to spend. If you stick to Amazon, you're probably going to save the most money. I did a mixture of some things because I am very impatient and I don't like waiting on Amazon, which is why I have 3 different thermostats, because I was told right off the bat to save my money and buy the little thermostat I have here, because you get 4 in a package of 10, so that makes them essentially like $2.50 each. Whereas me being impatient and not wanting to wait on Amazon, I ended up buying these little diodes that are $6, and they don't work. I mean, they give you a little bit of a reading, but they don't work accurately. So that's a waste of money. And then I bought these, which don't give you a humidity reading, and it's a probe, so it's more of like a surface temperature. So I ended up wasting my money buying these pointless thermostats instead of just waiting for Amazon to send me these little things. And the same thing goes with the thermostat. If you buy it at PetSmart, you're going to be spending $30, whereas if you buy it on Amazon, you're only going to spend like 16. And you don't need a thermostat. If you could figure out the right distance of your lamp from your aquarium. So as I'm editing this, I wanted to cut in with some B-roll footage and a voiceover that you're now hearing. And I just wanted to say that if you are confident in the temperature of the enclosure, because you have a temperature gun, as you see that I'm using here, and two, you know that the thermostats or thermometers that you're using in your enclosure are accurate, then yes, you do not need a thermostat. Now, if you're a new snake owner and you just bought all this equipment and you're not sure how it works, then yes, 100% you probably need a thermostat, especially if you don't have a temperature gun, and especially if you're not able to monitor the temperature throughout the day, then yes, you're going to need a thermostat because you don't want to overheat your snake, that's for sure. The reason why I don't use a thermostat anymore with my heat lamp is because I'm pretty confident in the temperature of the enclosure, and I know what distance the lamp needs to be over the enclosure, whether it's the daylight or the night light. They both have a different heat output, so obviously they're going to have to be at a different distance from the enclosure. But anyways, all I'm saying is that I personally don't use a thermostat with my heat lamp, but that's just because I'm very confident in the temperature of the enclosure and I'm able to check it most of the time throughout the day. So sorry that I had to cut in with this long B-roll and you had to see this footage, but I just wanted to show y'all what the temp gun looks like, and I just wanted to say that real quick. Then you don't need a thermostat because you're going to know how much heat it's emitting and stuff like that. But get a thermostat if you're like a new snake owner and you don't feel comfortable with just leaving a lamp over your snake. And also, don't take the lamp and set it down on your 2.5 gallon aquarium. You're gonna kill your snake. Just so you know, don't do that. This lamp hangs probably about almost 12 inches from this setup, and it still gives me a basking temperature of about 90, and then an ambient temperature of about like 87, and then down here it goes anywhere from 77 to 75 depending if it's like night or day. And and you can get a lamp, like I said, you go to PetSmart, you can spend $30. I bought this at Walmart for $7. And then the light bulbs inside, I got a day light bulb and a night light bulb, and those are about $6 each. And I did that so they can have a day and night cycle, or my Hognose could have a day and night cycle. The reason why you don't see my Hognose is because she is currently in shed. I was about to get her out for this video, and then I noticed she had the zombie eyes, and so she retreated into her little you can't see it, but there is a bone in there. It's like a hollow bone that was made for snakes. It's probably the most expensive thing in her setup because I think I spent about $15 on it, but it's like the equivalent of a toilet paper roll, and she loves it. And it's buried into her substrate, so she tends to hide in there for the most part. And also, here's a little clip of me making a hole in the humid hide, and I'll talk a little bit about that real quick. So my Hognose has been refusing food for a week, and I realized it's because she's in shed. I'm assuming because she looks pretty opaque. So this originally is her humid hide, and I'm gonna wet this down, but usually I have this in her hide, with this little opening, and I usually have one of these buckles open because she tends to get stuck in it, it seems like, with just this being the only opening. So what I'm about to do, since I technically now need to make a humid hide for her, I am going to just create another hole right here because I still want her to have that little backspace, but I feel like if I have another little hole, she's less likely to get stuck in it. So basically I'm just gonna So, for those of you that are wondering what I'm using to melt the plastic, this is a leather tool. Like, I know it's used to write into leather, and I just been using it for that, and also for like making holes in stuff like plastic, or I work with the 3D pen a lot, so sometimes if I need to melt the filament and make it look, give it more of a smoother look. Try not to burn myself. All right, so we got that, and then just kind of smooth out any little. This is really hot, so don't burn yourself. And you can use a solder machine, which is pretty much the same thing. But you can just get this at any Walmart. You can get it at Hobby Lobby, any craft store. So now that I have both of these holes, I'm going to turn this off, because I don't want to. So now that I have this with both holes, I'm going to wet down this moss and make a humid hide. Now you want to wet it down with hot water. So I just take the moss in my hand, and I barely put a little bit of hot water and put it in there. And then you could spray it one more time with the, if you want. And so yeah, I'm gonna cover that up. And now she has two, oh, I didn't realize. Well, she'll figure it out. But yeah, the humid hide is on this side, and sometimes it's just a hide and it's not humid whenever she's not in shed. And then on the other side, I spent about $3 on the water bowl, which is hollow underneath, so it's technically another hide. And then the little climbing vine, you can buy it at Walmart in the pet section for I think like $6. And I took hot glue and I put little leaves from like fake plants, which you want to wash off first, or you can buy plants specifically for snakes. And I glued them on the climbing vine because, believe it or not, even though hognoses are a burrowing species, they occasionally like to climb. So yeah, she has a climbing vine in there and she climbs on it occasionally. Altogether, if you don't include the $15 bone, I probably spent about 10 or $20 on the stuff inside of her setup. So altogether, you could spend, I think it's like $50, $60 total on a baby hognose setup. Like $15 for the aquarium, $15 for the screen, $7 for the light, and if you include the two bulbs, about $20 altogether for the light. $10 altogether for the clutter, and maybe another $10 for the thermostat, and that's all you're gonna need. What is that, like $60, 70? I don't know. You know what I mean? You're not gonna spend that much money on the setup at first. And obviously, it's up to you if you want to buy the most expensive things or the cheapest things. It's your call. It's your snake. It's your setup. But that's how much I spent. I spent about $60. Well, actually, I spent a lot more because I originally bought the wrong things. But I ended up getting a bigger snake that was able to fit the 10-gallon, which I will talk about in a later video. So ultimately, I didn't really waste my money because I did end up using that stuff in the future. But I bought a lot of big stuff for this little hognose snake that won't use it for like a year. So when I talk about my other snake in my next video, yeah. So anyways, that's how much you're going to spend on your setup. And now let's talk a little bit about giving your snake its first meal and what you're going to expect when it comes home. So when you get home with your snake, you're going to put it in its setup. Don't touch it until it eats about 3 meals for you. And the reason why I say that is because if the snake is stressed out, it's not going to eat for you. And if you keep handling it and it's already not eating, it's just going to continue to not eat for you. So don't handle your snake until it's eating at least 3 meals for you. And you can also read the body language of the snake. You can tell if they want to be held or if they not really want to, but you can tell if they mind being held. And you can tell if you're really stressing them out or not. My hognose snake, it took her about 3 weeks before she started eating, and I had to scent the Pinky with tuna. It seemed like she just didn't know what food was, so it makes me think that maybe she wasn't eating whenever she was with her breeder, but maybe she was. And also they said she was eating live, and I don't know. Mine eats frozen, thawed, scented tuna Pinkies. So that's just what she eats. At least that's what I had to do to get her to eat. There's a lot of different techniques you can do to get your hognose to eat, but usually scenting tends to work if you have a baby hognose that isn't eating the pinkies yet. Scenting it with tuna. I've heard of people scenting with little toad scent. Whatever works for you. Personally, I think tuna is going to do the trick if it's not eating. Also, make sure the setup is perfect. Make sure your temperature, like given that your environment is perfect and the temperature is perfect, which again, you want to have a basking temperature at around 90. You want to have an ambient temperature on the warm side around 87. And then on the cool side, it can be anywhere between 75 and 67. But a lot of people argue it shouldn't get in the 60s. So given that the heating requirements are correct, the size of the enclosure is correct, you have the right amount of clutter and hides, and let's say your hognose is still not eating, then you want to try the scenting methods, and then you can try the Dixie cut method. There's a lot of different methods you can try to get your hognose to eat. You want to just join a Facebook group because that's also going to help. You can just say, oh, my hognose ain't eating, and you will get 100 different suggestions from people on how to get it to eat. When you get your new hognose, at least wait a week or 2 weeks before you even offer it food, because it's not going to eat in that first couple of days that you have it. Some people get lucky, but for the most part, if it's a picky snake, it's not going to. Now, my hognose has been refusing food for the past week, and I was worried, but until I saw her zombie eyes today, and I was like, oh, she's going through shed. I'm excited because this is her first shed. So, yeah, this is out of all the snakes I've had, she was the first one I got and the last one to shed with me. All of my other snakes have gone through shed with me at least once, some of them even twice. I really hope this short hognose care video was enough for you to save some money and just kind of tell you what you need and the requirements that you're going to need to just get your hognose started. And but hopefully it was enough information to give you so you know what to buy for your hognose snake, and you know what temperature to have it at and the water and all that nonsense. Yeah, it's horrible. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.